Coming up, we're going to be talking in the rest of the afternoon now. We're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on with some of the myths and truths of road safety. What are we really trying to solve for out there? That's coming up a little later in the afternoon. Danny Shapiro from NVIDIA is coming up a little bit later on, the head of their automotive division, a company that has really revolutionized what they stand for and turned on a dime into an automotive direction. He'll be leading a panel on demystifying AI. That's still a very important thing to do. Even in a room as savvy as this, getting everyone on the same page of what can be a very broad topic. AI has many applications in many verticals. We'll really get into what it really means in automotive, where it's got strengths and where it's got weaknesses that need to be solved for as well. But right now, I want to kick off our next panel here with a different way of looking at automotive and transportation. We think of cars on the ground moving this way down the road, right? That's what they do. They sit on the ground and they roll one direction or the other. But you know, there's always been this appetite to move in more directions than just horizontal. To add vertical to the vehicle's movement and motion has the potential to really change the way we answer certain transportation issues. So let's dig into that to lead this panel on the intersection of horizontal and vertical transportation. One of the most interesting you're going to hear today. Please welcome Jack Stewart, senior writer for Wired.
That's good music to come on to. Feel like we're pumped. Hi everybody, this is going to be one of the most interesting sessions I think of this whole event, because we really are talking about the future here. Flying cars have been something from the future for, what, 50 years or so, and they've always been about 5 years away. Can you hear me okay? Is this microphone messing around? Yeah, I can move it up a little bit. Let me introduce our panelists so we can move straight into talking about some of the details of what they're doing. This is Sandy Adams, she's the chief marketer at Zulum Aero, and Paul DeLorean, the CEO of DeLorean Aerospace. So you guys, we're going to be talking about flying cars. The future is really here. Flying cars and electric propulsion, the future of air travel. Let's go straight in actually, because we're quite short on time, so maybe Paul, we'll start with you. Can you describe the machine that you're making and what it does?
Sure. This is the DR-7 aircraft. I began working on this project.
I've got some pictures selected behind you that we can see on the edge of these screens.
Started with a clean sheet of paper. It sounds a little trite now, but I really started with the goal of creating an experience rather than a vehicle. Not thinking about the form or the machine. I wanted to sort of re-experience that feeling that I had when I was growing up when I got my first bike, and then eventually got the keys to the family car. And I had total freedom. You know, you can go anywhere you want to go, nothing in your way, make the world yours. And I really just wanted to sort of recreate that for myself. And so I sort of thought, long and hard before I put a pen to paper about how I could achieve that. And I thought, what was the basic mechanical structure that would allow that kind of experience? And it evolved over the course of several years to a vehicle that ultimately was patented, flight tested in various scales, and built to scale dimensionally and by weight and dimension to what the full-size aircraft would be. The full-size aircraft would be a 2000 tandem configuration, electric VTOL, fully composite, and able to cruise at about 150 miles per hour, and will have an incredibly low coefficient of drag, which when you're talking electric, that's the name of the game. It's lightweight and it's efficiency. And that's where your range comes from. And also in coming up with this design and refining it over time, I learned that there were a lot of inherent safety features to having a twin, I call it a semi-twin vectoring. So propulsion system front and rear, and they allow the aircraft to transition from vertical to, horizontal orientation to, let me better explain this.
Well, I'll jump in. You're very careful using terms like VTOL, aircraft. Yeah, we should point out that yours is not the only aircraft that's coming around on these pictures, because you're not the only person working on this type of aircraft. We've got Airbus working on Project Kahana. There's some really big names. Uber is getting into this space with its Elevate program. Zoom is your aircraft, Sandy. That's the one on the screen now. So some really big names, but you're definitely avoiding using the term flying car. I like that term. How do you feel about it? Are these flying cars?
Well, a flying car is a car that flies. And if it's road going and is also able to be flown, then you have a flying car. And my feeling is that if you can launch vertically, then why would you want to drive? If you can, shoot from destination departure A to destination B, without having to go on the roads, why would you carry a car with you? So, in the interest of making the vehicle as lightweight and simple as possible, it's going to have basic taxiing capability. So, if you want to go maybe a half a kilometer to a launch site, then certainly the vehicle can perform that job. But
so a DeLorean is making a real-life flying car. This is my sci-fi dreams of my teenage years. True right here. You better just explain the name as well. Are you of the DeLorean family?
Same family, a completely different company. I won't lie and say there wasn't some influence growing up by Back to the Future.
Right.
But there was also the Absent-Minded Professor and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and taking The Fifth Element. I mean, there were a lot of flying car movies, and I think the inspiration comes from wherever it comes from. And you take that and you go with it. But yeah, having that in the family certainly was.
So Paul DeLorean was making a flying car. Sandy, you must be making a time machine, right? Tell us about your aircraft. It's a saving time machine.
It is a time-saving machine, yes. So our aircraft are electric aircraft. They, in the beginning, will be hybrid to electric. And our first aircraft is a 12-seater. But really, our vision is to create a world where people can live where they want, they can travel when they want, and just have a lot of choice in how they live. Right now, the air system is really built around the jet age, which has been fantastic because now we can get places, faraway places, more quickly and more cheaply than ever before. But as a result, what's happening with the air system is that there are 13,500 airports in the US, and we use just 1% of them. So if any of you have traveled, say, less than 1,000 miles, you probably know that by the time, and if you flew, by the time you got to the airport, you've traversed the airport, you've gone through security, etc., you waited and taxied on the runway, you spent 70% of your time actually on the ground. And so, but through a combination of our electric aviation and leveraging some of these 13,500 airports that are unused in the US, we're going to be able to drive travel times down 2 to 4 times and have a green aircraft with an operating cost that's 40 to 80% lower than what's available today on regional routes.
So are you saying you're going to be able to use different airports than the ones that small sort of business jets and commuter jets currently?
Exactly. So a lot of these airports in the US are, these 13,500, are in smaller communities, so not necessarily in the really congested metropolitan areas. And actually, if you think about where you live, there are community and local airports nearby. And because our aircraft we're not VTOL, so not vertical takeoff, but sort of short takeoff. And because they are quiet, they're actually 80% quieter than the current aircraft. And they don't require a lot of real estate. We're able to go in close to communities all hours of the night and actually offer a service that's almost like a bus. You won't have all the congestion and the admin of going through a big congested airport. It's kind of a walk-on, walk-off. We kind of say it's like a business jet experience at half of commercial fares today.
I mean, a lot of this sounds, from both of your companies, almost too good to be true. And it has, historically, that's been the case. We hear about these amazing new flying machines that, like I said at the beginning, they're always 5 years away and they never actually arrive. In the automotive world, we're seeing this revolution through electrification and autonomy and new materials that are actually enabling some real change in the automotive world. Is it the same in the aviation world? Paul, is that what's making the personal flying machine possible?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, advances in technology, certainly, both of us are doing electric vehicles. The power to weight ratio of electric systems is phenomenal. I mean, this is stuff that 10 years ago, about around 10 years ago, we started to see this happening. And then it, worked its way into the hobby world. It became very apparent. People were doing things that never could have been done before. But yeah, technology, and also I think people are just taking a different approach to creating the vehicles. When you start with a propulsion system that requires, less maintenance, it's more easy to manufacture volume, it's more robust. It's almost the inspiration that allows it. Knowing that you have these tools to use, it kind of, I think, drives a lot of engineer, creative minds to seeing what they can come up with.
And apart from awesome fun, how could you see an aircraft, a VTOL type aircraft, yours or some of the others, being used? What's the business case there? How do we integrate those into our transport system the same way that someone's doing?
Well, my motivation was fun. I mean, from the very beginning, it was just, I wanted to make, a rocket ship that I could fly. And, I had an introductory flight lesson when I was much younger. And I went to Oshkosh and saw the Harrier fly. And I got sort of that bug. But, along the way, I realized that this had tremendous potential as a commuter vehicle, not just for the enthusiasts and the daredevils. Although the vehicle that we're designing will have a great flight envelope for those people, it makes perfect sense for a daily commuter. The wings fold up, it'll fit in a parking space or a typical home garage. You roll it out and take off, and I think with the safety and the inherent simplicity of it, we're able to manufacture these things in volume at a very low price relative to a lot of other vehicles that have been produced that do a similar job. And
so the business model then, so you think personal ownership and fun could be one. Actually, this is a poll that we've got for you guys in the audience. We can actually put this up as a vote. How would you use a personal flying machine? Would you prefer to have one that you can own, that you can use for fun? Would you use it as a ride-hail or taxi-type service, the way that Uber is proposing? Or would you simply never set foot in one? It's just not something you do. Instructions are on the board there. You can text ALMA to 22333, and then 1, 2, or 3 with your choice. Already coming in strong with the ride-hail taxi service. Sandy, let's throw this one at you. How would you sort of see the business model of your service working? How are you going to make money out of running these probably quite expensive machines?
Yeah, right. So I love that Paul, I love that he wanted to create something fun, and that's a really cool motivation for creating it. I think at Zuna we're actually driven by pragmatism.
And it looks like most of the audience is too. Ride-hail taxi service is definitely sort of swarming ahead there. I don't know how many votes that is, but it's a large percentage.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I would use it for. Well, I guess I would own one too. But so as far as our business model goes, I mean, the reason that we went out first with a 12-seater, there are a couple of reasons. One is the route to certification is actually very fast. It's certified under something called Part 23, and that takes on average 3 to 5 years. We're 3 years into that process. We've been working with the FAA on Part 23 certification for electric vehicles. And second, it's that the 12-seater actually has a lot of different applications. So not only from a commuter standpoint or commercial aircraft, but also for business jets, for military, and for cargo as well. I mean, you can see in the market right now, there's this drive towards same-day delivery and faster, immediate delivery. So you can imagine, for instance, some delivery service touching down somewhere, having trucks pull up, because we don't require a lot of landscape. We're quiet. We can land in a lot of community-centered areas and running their operations that way.
So what sort of range does your aircraft have? How practical is it?
So the first aircraft will go up to 700 miles, but then eventually we're looking at 1,000 to 1,500 miles. And of course, battery technology we've seen in this auto show has been progressing at an astounding rate. And while costs for batteries have been going down, the energy density has been going up drastically.
Batteries are still very heavy, though, so how are you getting around the issue of having enough battery storage for that range that you want?
So one of the things we did when we designed the aircraft is to make it battery technology agnostic, essentially. We have bays in the wings for batteries, so they can be customized for mission. And this also means that when you go to an airport to recharge, it's a simple swap. You don't have to wait for a charge. And the infrastructure demands from an airport standpoint are also very minimal.
But initially you're going for a hybrid approach, right? So you're using a gas engine or a more traditional engine in order to provide power for the electric fan?
Yes, so there is a gas turbine that is connected that generates electricity that powers the electric propulsion. So it is fully electric. But yes, there is additional power. But we have designed the planes, it's called series hybrid. So essentially it's pre-wired to make the switch over seamlessly to fully electric when the energy density is available.
For anybody who's driving any of the modern plug-in hybrids, that will all sound very familiar.
Right, exactly.
Paul, you're going for full electric, so tell us some of the specs of your vehicle. How far and how fast can I fly?
Yeah, our goal is full electric, and it's going to have a range of approximately 120 miles. 120 today's technology, so assuming 6 to 8% improvement in capacity for batteries per year, which is historically the case. By the time we reach production, it should be significantly better than that. And that's cruising at about 130 to 40 miles an hour with a top speed of 240, which of course, the faster you go, the less efficiency you have, but it's still a pretty good rate.
Yeah, those are actually really big claims compared to some of the other people who are sort of playing in this space at the moment, the likes of Airbus with this project like that. I mean, a lot of people are... Yeah.
It's really just by design. The configuration is very unique in that it allows extremely low drag. The front fan basically creates an airfoil in the fuselage, so you're not compounding the induced drag if you have an outboard configuration, for example. This is something we learned from running simulation tests.
Because you could get away with a range of, say, 30 miles, and that would still be enough to leapfrog over an entire city and all of the traffic and the gridlock and everything below. Could you see a potential, perhaps if you're building a number of different vehicle lines in the future where you do build like a commuter hopper type service?
Yeah, I think so. I think, when you're doing a really short trip, let's say across town, under 5 miles, you can almost get in a basket under a crane and have it take you there. I mean, if you want to really maximize your efficiency, and as electrics proliferate, that's going to go up. So efficiency is always going to be, paramount. And even if you can swap batteries, you're going to have to charge the batteries that are, not being used, and you want to have things moving as quickly as possible. So, efficiency and I think that's the key feature of ours. Efficiency, safety, and
I was going to say safety, not to throw yet another negative spanner in the works of these wonderful ideas, but how are we going to operate in cities where the skies are just littered with personal flying vehicles, people taking off from smaller regional airports, and people taking off from their front yards, and how is all that going to work together? Is anybody thinking about this yet?
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of new developments in aviation that will help with that. So a lot of GPS-guided technologies, there's implementations of new programs in air traffic control systems so that you can fly in fog because it's all sort of GPS-guided. So that will help with some of the traffic controls. Now, when it gets down to many electric cars flying,
would you need a pilot's license? Is that how it's going to work?
Ultimately, no. The goal is to have a fully electric aircraft. Fully autonomous aircraft.
So again, parallels with the automotive industry here. These things are all sort of coming together to make these things.
Absolutely. And remember, autopilot has been around for decades. I mean, this is something that aircraft have had in one form or another for a very long time. They also have something called ADS-B. They can sense when there's another aircraft in proximity. So, the technology really already exists. It's a matter of sort of managing these kinds of vehicles almost as a swarm so that they're relating to each other in a very specific way so that they can maintain not just the safe distance, but an efficient distance, just like cars on the highway. You know, autonomous is really going to have an advantage when everything is autonomous, and you can have vehicles that are, you know, a few feet apart, but they're cruising down the road at 70 miles per hour, for example. And I think that's, if you can imagine it being managed that way, it makes a lot more sense than just, you know, people running around like ants or something in the sky. It could sound chaotic, but that certainly won't be the case.
Just in the very short time we have remaining, let me get a sense from you both of the challenges remaining then. Sandy, let's start with you. I mean, how close are we to making this real, and what is the major obstacle to overcome?
Yeah, we're actually very close to making it real. So our first aircraft is available in 2022, which is just a few years away.
It's that 5 years away again, isn't it? It's always 5 years away.
So the biggest challenge that we have from a technical standpoint is actually the thermal management of the airplane. But you know, a lot of the other things have actually been done before in other formats, so we don't see a lot of certification risk or anything like that. But it's really how do you manage the heat coming off from a 1 megawatt motor while you're in the air, where you dissipate heat and where you need to.
Interesting that it's a technical challenge behind it rather than a regulatory one. Over. Paul, just very briefly, what do you think your major remaining challenge is to making these things real?
Well, we're at an earlier stage. I think, you know, we're at the fundraising stage, and we've made a lot of progress with our scale models. We've put a lot of time and effort into IP protection, which I think is very important. But we're looking to get our prototype built within about a year. So we're doing a lot of the ground level work right now, planning it out. We're talking to potential manufacturing partners, and hoping to make this thing happen very quickly.
Sounds great. Can't wait. Thank you very much, both of you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.